I don't even know. What are we doing here? The better question, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? I honestly don't believe there's enough coffee in the world for this discussion, but it's going to be had. Tony Khan once again. Somebody gave TK, the owner of AEW, somebody gave him his phone back. Bucks, Omega, was it you? Jericho, it had to have been you. Damn it, Jericho. Who gave Tony his phone back? He found his way back on the social doohickey machine, and he's causing chaos in 140 characters yet again within WWE. For those that don't know what we're talking about, first and foremost, welcome back to the channel. I, of course, will be your host, BC Amplified. Loved, hated, doesn't matter. Everybody's going to tune in to listen to the very best in this community. The Amplify Man. What? BC. What? The best. What? The GOAT. You damn well know it. Yeah! Get up! Get amplified! All right, I've had a lot of coffee, as you can tell. I got about a half an hour to talk about this. All right, let's bring it down. Let's de-amplify a little bit. A little bit, BC, just a little bit. Let's bring it down a little bit so we can talk the discussion. Man, Tony Khan, he's back at it again. Of course, the wrestling community, right? The dirt sheets and the journalists, they're not making a big deal out of it because it's Tony Khan. Right? They all have some skin in the game. They'll have people within those walls, right? Everybody does. Meltzer, his good buddies are the Bucks. Even the Sean Ross Saps, right? He's got his buddy Billy Washington, I believe is his name, who's now like a writer for AEW, but started with him. So even like Ross Sapp is like putting out a thing. We've seen Jeeps ride up to arenas, right? The old DX thing, the WCW. We've seen this, and this, and y'all are mad about tweets? Like totally just trying to swipe it underneath the rug. Like this is not a big story. Like this is not a huge deal. The owner of a company is calling out the booking of another company and dragging another wrestler into the mud. He's already done this with legends like Taker and HBK and even HHH and John Cena. And now poor little bottom of the totem pole, Jinder Mahal is being dragged. That's pretty massive. If this was like Paul Levesque McMahon or Vincent Kennedy doing this would be massive. That's childish. That's petty. How dare they stoop that low? Concentrate on your own company. You're just jealous. You just want to be them. But because it's flip-flopped and it's coming from the AEW side of things and Tony Khan and all these people either have people within those walls or they want to get a job with those people, That's where we are. It's not a big story to those people, but let's not BS, right? We don't do that on this channel. There's no sugarcoating on this channel. We don't BS on this channel. We call it right down the middle. Doesn't matter the company. If the show is bad, whether it's a Raw or a Dynamite, we're going to call it out. If it's good, we're going to talk nothing but praise. That's what we do on this channel. Of course, there's a rule that we have on the channel. A show has to at least hit 1 million in viewership consistently for us to review the show, right? Because we're taking our time. BC's taking his time to do the notes and the due diligence and the research and the history and the upload and the editing. And then you guys are taking the time to watch the review. But if not enough people are watching the shows, then it's all for nothing, right? So I put 1 million, and it's not just because it's a cute number. 1 million, right? You got to hit 1 million because it's a nice whole number. No. It's because the average pro wrestling show on a Monday through Friday anyway, for primetime, should be at least hitting 1.2. That is the bare minimum lowest. 1.2, even in 2023, taking into consideration cord cutting, streaming services, people more on their phone these days, watching highlights the next day. We get it. So we came to the conclusion that 1.2 would still be the viewership live that needs to tune in if your product is good enough, right? 1.2. So that's why Saturday's Collision, we really don't count that because it's on the weekend. And by the way, it's still pulling in 400,000 lately. 400,000 consistently, which I believe is beating Rampage, correct? Or at least is right there, which is why I always said get rid of Rampage, put Collision on Friday nights, put it against SmackDown, especially when SmackDown goes to cable television USA next year. It's a much more even fight. You're going to bare minimum pull 600,000 to 700,000. Even if you're getting beat by WWE, you're going to pull in more than 300,000 to 400,000, which is what Collision is pulling now, and Rampage. So you just put Collision on Friday nights. Even if you're getting beat by WWE, you're going to pull in a better viewership by competing with them. It'll be more fun for the fans. You guys will get a better rating. AEW needs to do that, man, because having two shows, Friday night, Saturday night, it's just not working out. You could put the two ratings together and you're still not even going to come close to 1 million, let alone the 1.2. But the point is, 1.2, Monday through Friday, your show should be at least pulling. And so because they haven't been, NXT, AEW, TNA Impact, the local bingo hall that has a television show, nobody can pull that 1.2. So what BC did out of his generosity is I put it down to 1 million in viewership. 1 million. I lowered it, the new bare minimum, by 200,000. And unfortunately, these companies can't hit 1 million. So we don't review the shows because of that, man. There's too much else to talk about. And if it's just not worth the time, then we're not going to do it. If nobody's watching the actual shows, nobody's going to want to watch reviews. So, and that's why we always talk about Raw's rating. You know, that's coming closer and closer to 1 million. You know, if it drops under 1 consistently, guess what? We don't talk about Raw anymore. I mean, I know that would suck for a lot of people because you look forward to those reviews, but I'm not going to do that if it's not worth it. So anyway, I have this rule, 1 million in viewership. So we haven't been covering AEW, just like we don't cover NXT. Once in a blue moon, I might cover an organization. I might do an AEW event. I might do an NXT event. But for week to week, I don't cover these shows. So right from the jump, that's one of those things where, you know, you don't hear a lot. Sometimes no news is good news, right? So we're letting AEW collect themselves and hopefully produce really good television. And in the future, when I start talking AEW, hopefully it's nothing but praise, positive shit, really good stuff. Unfortunately, every time I gotta cover them, the news is something from Tony Khan and what he's saying. And it's so outrageous. And it's something that he, the owner, should not be saying. And this is not the first time, of course, right? You guys remember he was talking about Undertaker and John Cena not being able to pull 1 million rating anymore. By the way, if you're wondering, right, 1 million, why are these numbers coming up? What does it matter if a show hits 1 million? Tony Khan, the owner of AEW. So if you're an AEW fan, look no further than the leader of that company. He is telling you 1 million is what matters. He literally said Undertaker and Cena can't even pop that 1 million anymore. And you needed them just to try to beat us, and they still couldn't get the job done. Or at least couldn't hit that 1 million. There's no reason to drag John Cena and The Undertaker. Remember when he called Shawn Michaels and Triple H bald assholes? Because he wasn't happy with some of what he felt was undermining tricks going on with NXT. But there's no reason that the owner should be doing that, right? Maybe you designate somebody within AEW that can, you know, fire those jabs off. But not him. And it's one time after the other. He just constantly says something so outrageous that you would never expect or you would never think, because it never should happen. An owner should be saying about the competition. If it was vice versa, if it was the opposite way, if it was HHH or VKM, the journalists, the reporters, the dirt sheets, they'd be having a field day with this. This would be massive. But it's already being swept underneath the rug like it's nothing. So BC, what are we talking about, right? We're almost 10 minutes into this shindig. We haven't gotten to the meat and bones of the story. Well, let's talk about it. Apparently now, and let's be fair, we believe this started with WWE on USA Network's, like, what do you call it? Their social doohickey handle. I don't know which site that would be, but a post that they put up about Jinder and Seth, something about a cage something rating. I really don't know anything about this, guys. I don't have time to just kind of flutter around online during the day. That's just not how BC operates. So some website that has ratings. and WWE on USA's, maybe it's the X or Twitter handle, kind of asked, oh, what was the cage? And some people thought that was a direct diss to Tony Khan because he's always talking about that site in the ratings. So I don't know. Maybe WWE on USA will confirm or deny. Maybe Tony Khan will say that's exactly what it was. It was a dig to me. Possibly. I know nothing about that. What I do know is Tony Khan's response. And he dragged the modern day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal. Poor Jinder. I'm pretty sure he knows about his bad booking. The guy finally gets a break. He's in there with The Rock and he gets a title shot, which he's not going to win next Monday. Unless now he is, because it's such a big deal now. Tony Khan just put a lot more eyeballs on Jinder Mahal. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But Tony Khan says this, a double standard. At 730 Hook, which I believe is AEW's Hook, maybe that's his handle or whatever, 28-1 career record on a winning streak, calls out the champ. A logical challenge sparks online outrage. So I guess he called out the champion. People are like, why is Hook going for a title? I don't know what they're even talking about. You guys, most of you guys, if you know what this dude's talking about, all right, maybe there's relevancy there. All right, Hook caught a lot of flack. I didn't see this, and I'm always tapping into the news, all of that. I didn't hear outrage about Hook, but evidently Tony did. Okay. So he says Jinder has literally called out Jinder Mahal's name. Jinder has literally lost every single match he's in for the past year. Immediately gets a title shot. Where is the rage? AEW Dynamite tomorrow on TBS. I gotta love that. Oh, the ultimate promoter. After saying all of this shit, he then ends it with, by the way, tune in tomorrow, Dynamite. Oh, Tony Khan. Jinder has literally lost every single match he's in for the past year. Immediately gets a title shot. Where is the rage? Now, hold up. Jinder would respond, but first of all, Tony Khan was not even done. I mean, there was more. He was legit heated. And he says, a moral victory for USA is one win more than their world title challenger. Meaning USA Network, by the way. A moral victory for USA is one win more than their world title challenger Jinder Mahal has in his past 364 days. He is coming at Jinder Mahal hardcore. A moral victory for USA is one win more than their world title challenger Jinder Mahal has in the past 364 days because it's been literally a full year since he won a match. You really put AEW in our place getting Jinder Mahal in a big match on your TV show. Do it more often. This is the old school WCW Bischoff Tony Khan comment, Tony Schiavone comment when Mick Foley was about to win the WWF championship, and it was a taped show. So Bischoff had Schiavone actually tell everybody the results, and Schiavone's like, that'll put a lot of butts in seats. I mean, this dude is literally saying, put Jinder on your TV show more. Yeah, do it more often. In other words, yeah, have your ratings tank and sink by putting Jinder Mahal in matches. I don't know what Jinder did to Tony Khan, by the way. This dude's ripping poor Jin. This dude. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, by the way, I don't know why I got my Oakleys. My Oakley collection. I don't know why my Oakleys are still on. My bad on that if there was any reflection. But if you guys don't know, if you're new to the channel, big Jinder Mahal fan. I don't push him. Don't worry. I know a lot of people don't need to see or want to see Jinder Mahal, so I pretty much keep that under wraps. But I like Jinder Mahal. I do. The modern day Maharaja. He's a good dude. And, you know, I do wish his booking was better and he connected with the crowd more. It's just not the case, so we don't push it that much. So that's what I mean. When I always say I'm the fairest dude in this community, it's fair, right? I'm big on Sasha Banks and Bray Wyatt, and I always push them because the ratings showed that they're really good. Whether you like them or not, that's either the beholder or your prerogative. But Sasha Banks and Bray Wyatt always pulled in numbers. Then if you're like Sasha Banks, you're everybody's best match. So they're just really good. I also like Jinder Mahal. No real connection. Ratings don't really budge with Jinder, so I don't really speak overhead about Jinder Mahal. But doesn't mean I don't like him, but I know what the facts are, and that's why I'm not going to promote propaganda just because I like something or someone. Hope you guys are keeping track. That's how honest I am on this channel. Even if I like something, doesn't mean I'm going to push it or promote it. I always go by the facts and the numbers. I understand Jinder does not pull in, so we go with those facts. But I always liked Jinder. But Tony Khan, not a fan, and he's dragging Jinder Mahal. So you gotta think. So there was a response by Jinder, and WWE talent is not happy, obviously. They're kind of like trying to joke with it more than anything. I told you guys how it is inside the walls of WWE, in case you don't know. They make fun of Tony Khan a lot. They do. That's something I don't partake in or advocate for. We have fun with some of the wildness, but to have a whole locker room kind of making fun of it, that's a little childish for sure. But I think they're looking at what Tony's doing as childish, so then it's like two wrongs don't make a right. But the WWE locker room, they laugh at Tony Khan a lot. And word within, because I do have insiders, thankfully. And the word is that they see Tony Khan as easy money should they ever need another place to work. So it's not based on respect. It's more on what they can get from Tony. And he's pretty much just a clown, a laughing stock. Again, I don't advocate for that. That's not cool. But, Tony Khan does not help his cause. So you can kind of see when Tony Khan goes through these outbursts, the way the locker room responds, or most of them don't even respond, tells you a lot. A lot of them just don't care, right? It's like how BC's always been. It's like if I just don't care about something or that it's not meaningful, it doesn't even matter, I couldn't care less, it's just going to be thrown to the wayside. And for WWE and a lot of the outrageous things that AEW says, or Tony Khan more specifically, they just kind of push it to the side. But some people actually said, all right, enough. Like, we're gonna be right in Jinder's corner. And Jinder Mahal himself, his response was, who the fuck is a hook? That was all right. The best response from Jinder, instead of going into this war that Tony Khan looks like he would just love to have so we could be in the same sentence with WWE, Jinder Mahal is just like, what the fuck is a hook? Like, we're really not paying attention to your company, bro. You said you're an alternative. You said you want nothing to do with WWE, and then you claim you're in a war with us. You're always talking about us. You're dragging our legends, and then us. Just shut up, right? An NXT talent. I didn't get the name, by the way. I don't think it's a known NXT talent. But this NXT talent, you guys can look this up and find the name out. Again, I was getting all this collected pretty quickly. I don't have a ton of time, and this story is all over the place. But an NXT talent told Khan, I believe probably on an X post or something, he said, shut the fuck up to Tony. Just shut the fuck up. NXT talent. Rhea Ripley strongly in the corner of Jinder Mahal and others. Rhea Ripley and others smashing likes on posts that are in the corner of Jinder Mahal, showing that because obviously that's everyone can see that. Corey Graves literally said Jinder rules right after Khan put that out. So Corey Graves firmly in the corner of Jinder Mahal. Eric Bischoff was kind of the funniest, not a part of WWE, but he's always he's coming at AEW pretty strong. A lot of it is factual and there's numbers and statistics to back it up, like BC always goes over with you guys. But a lot of it also is, I think Bischoff just does not like AEW for some reason. I don't know. It seems like there's another layer there. And he's been in those walls. He's gotten a paycheck from Tony Khan, but he doesn't like something in AEW for sure. But Eric Bischoff just called Tony Khan a clown. Clown. With the clown emoji. And Tony Khan responded, get out of my sight, you miserable has-been. It was like a meme with that in the meme. Or the GIF, whatever you guys want to call it. Get out of my sight, you miserable has-been. Bischoff responded about Abaddon's booking, because a fan was like, wait a second, isn't what Tony Khan's saying exactly what he did with Abaddon? So Eric Bischoff says, is this true, TK, or is this a bot too? Because Khan usually blames things on bots. So Bischoff said, is this true or is this a bot too? So Tony Khan defended the booking, saying if you did your research, you would know that she came back and had a match and earned that title opportunity. But then somebody else kind of said, well, wait a second, that wasn't for that actual title. She came back and she lost. The point is, if she came back, I guess there was one match and it was like a multi-person schmaz, and then she was in line for that title. But then another fan said it wasn't that title. It was a different title and she ended up losing that match. I don't know, guys. Some of you guys, most of you guys, maybe, I don't know. You know exactly the specifics on some of this, but the bottom line is Abaddon and her booking isn't that far off from Jinder's, I guess. And there's probably other cases you could go to, or Tony Khan put somebody in a match where they did not deserve to be. So Bischoff is kind of calling that out, and other fans, obviously. So Tony Khan fires back at Bischoff, and he says, reading would be your friend, Eric. Reading would be your friend. Like, do more research, I guess. So Eric Bischoff goes right back. Eric Bischoff says, my reading skills are wizard-like. By the way, that was one of the Meltzer comebacks every time we call him out on his bullshit. So he's accusing now of Tony Khan of ripping off Meltzer, who a lot of people believe is in the pocket of, obviously, the Young Bucks. Those are Meltzer's friends. But also, like, just being in tight with AEW, just to be in tight with a big promotion. So Bischoff is calling out that and saying you literally just ripped off Meltzer's comeback every time we call him out on his BS. So as you can see in the community, a lot of the current wrestlers and a lot of the, what do you want to call them, personalities, I guess you could say, like Bischoff, because I don't believe he's under contract with WWE or any company. But a lot of the solo personality, a lot of people are speaking out on it. It's a big story. Even Dustin Rhodes recently. Now, you guys know how much I respect Dustin Rhodes, right? I respect that. I just feel he's one of the most flawlessly fluent wrestlers on the planet. Him and Randy Orton. If you ever see them do those scoop slams, how fast and how flawless and just how beautiful. It's like if you put it in slow motion, it's a thing of beauty. It's like as much as Aaron Rodgers has turned into a complete drama queen, but he's our Green Bay quarterback for many years, took us and won one Super Bowl at least. But if you ever watch an Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary, I mean, it looks and it seems and it feels like that ball is up in the air for about 17 minutes, going 55, 56 yards. And you see these scoop slams by Randy Orton or Dustin, and it's just a thing of magic. And still to this day, I love Dustin Rhodes, and I really hope, before he calls it a quits, and calls it a career, I should say, I really hope he gets one master run, and I don't even care. If he wins a world title before he retires, you will not hear BC bitching about it. Love Dustin Rhodes. But he said something that just doesn't make sense because it's contradicting, right? Dustin Rhodes says, guys, this is after the whole melee over the last few hours. Dustin Rhodes says, and I quote, guys, just enjoy wrestling. We love to do it for you. Lighten up on the tribalism, end quote. Now that's great, right? Isn't that a great thing to say, right? Just enjoy wrestling and stop the tribalism, right? We all have been asking for that. Just one problem. First of all, no. Many of us don't want to just enjoy wrestling. We want to be captivated by wrestling. We don't want to just enjoy it, right? We don't want to just sit there and giggle and do a golf clap, because that's what you do when you enjoy something, right? You're enjoying it. Maybe some endorphins are going off. You're like, oh wow, this makes me happy, or this makes me sad. Maybe that's enjoying something, right? For instance, I enjoy ice cream, but I'm not going out and buying ice cream action figures, right? You're going down, chocolate, nuh-uh, vanilla. It's on in a cage match. Special guest referee, Strawberry. I enjoy ice cream, but you're not going to see a collection of ice cream action figures, right? I enjoy a nice steak. That doesn't mean I'm going to be wearing or sporting a ribeye hoodie or a ribeye t-shirt. Maybe a filet mignon hat. Sorry. BC popped himself on that one. I just thought of like people walking around with like filet mignon shirts and hats. Ice cream action film. Maybe they would sell. Who knows? The point is, we don't want to just enjoy wrestling. We want to be captivated by it. Most of the population enjoys sex. That doesn't mean in the middle of it they're going to chant, "This is awesome." that girl will get up and walk right out on you. Right? Let's do this forever. No, she's going to be like, that's it. There goes the night. Put her clothes on. She's out. You know, no, just enjoying pro wrestling is boring. We want to be captivated by pro wrestling. There's nothing in the world like professional wrestling. Nothing. And what drew us to it, what made us fall in love with pro wrestling is because we were captivated. We didn't just enjoy it. You can enjoy tennis, golf. You can enjoy a basketball game, maybe. Pro wrestling, man, larger than life characters, storylines that have you on the edge of your seat going, what the That's pro wrestling. Warrior running down the aisle at 175 miles an hour. Yeah, he might only have a 90-second match. Might look like he doesn't know what he's doing in there. His promos, you might not understand what he is talking about. Something about being in orbit with the oceans and running over Hulk Hogan with a monster truck. Who knows? But you were hanging on every word because Warrior just captivated you. Right? The NWO, you had to see what they were going to do next every Monday night on Nitro. You had to see who was joining them, who was turning on WCW. When the glass shattered, you had to put that remote down. Stone Cold's coming for VKM's ass. You were captivated. You felt something. When the glass shattered, when the music hit back in the day, you were already out of your seat. The wrestler didn't even come through the curtain yet, and you were electric. Nowadays, these wrestlers don't do that. The music hits, you kind of get up slowly. For some of them. Others, you just sit in your seat still. And you're kind of like, oh yeah, Jericho, we're going to sing a song. Jules, you ready? Let's do it, man. Let's sing a song. I become. Ah! Right? Cody Rhodes, he gets a good pop, right? Yeah, Cody. Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. Oh! Or we're just a bunch of zombies, right? Oh! Right? We do the sing-alongs. Just enjoying wrestling's boring. So I understand what Dustin is trying to say, but it doesn't make sense because you have to look no further than your company. When he ends his quote saying, guys, lighten up on the tribalism. End quote. Dustin Rhodes, guys, lighten up on the tribalism, will ya? He's acting like everybody, the fans just woke up and started talking about this. It came from your dude, Dustin. It came from the guy signing your checks, the owner of your company, Dustin. Dustin, your boss is fueling the flames, dude. What do you mean, guys, lighten up on the tribalism? Tony Khan saying legends like Jonathan Cena and The Undertaker can't pull a rating anymore. They couldn't even pop 1 million, so that didn't work. I'm paraphrasing, but you guys remember, it was not long ago. They could not pop 1 million. Good try, though. And he literally name-dropped The Undertaker and John Cena. There was no reason to do that. Paul Levesque McMahon and Shawn Michaels. HHH and HBK. Bald assholes. A little petty. Was that really needed? Not the biggest fan of Paul Levesque, but I want him to do really good so that WWE can thrive. And then when they do, everybody is going to. Not just AEW and Impact, TNA. But the local bingo halls will feel that, right? When the top dog, which obviously I'm not letting the cat out of the bag, no secret, WWE's at the top of the wrestling world, right? Ratings, statistics, numbers, financials, you guys know that. But when they thrive, everybody feels that. So as much as I don't have to be a fan on a personal level with Paul Levesque McMahon, we still want him to succeed. That's why we do fair critiques. And Levesque McMahon botches a lot, and we have to call that out. As much as I might not be the biggest fan on a personal level, professionally, I don't know if that's the best thing to do, to call out people like John Cena, The Undertaker, HHH, HBK. And then the guys lower on the totem pole. Jinder Mahal knows he can't buy a victory. He doesn't need you absolutely dragging the dude. Jinder Mahal's booking doesn't justify a title match. Where is the rage? He's asking, where is the rage? It's like he's fueling the flames. Why are you asking where the rage is? We're sorry that whatever happened with Hook pissed off some people. They can fuck themselves. They'll get over it. But to cry about a double standard and then ask where the rage is, that's not something the owner of a company should be doing. You can't do that, dude. You can't do that and then turn around and cry about tribalism. You can't drag the roster of WWE legends and the ones lowest on the totem pole and complain about WWE's booking on Monday Night Raw with Seth and Jinder. You can't do all of that and then turn around and go, guys, stop the tribalism, man. What are you guys doing? Can we all just relax? Dustin, absolutely. We can at least try. But you got to do us a favor, Dustin. And I love you, brother. Big time. One of my favorite dudes in this industry. Dustin, you got to talk to your boss, bro. If you truly, Dustin, if you want to end the tribalism, you got to talk to your boss, bro. You have to, because I don't see Vincent Kennedy McMahon or even HHH, and he's taken potty shots in the past, and he got nailed for that. Guys, that was big news stories. Tony Khan does things like this, and the Raw Saps and everybody is just kind of just swipe it right underneath the rug. We don't need to talk about that. Ross Sapp is literally laughing about it. Guys, up at all we've seen in the wars in WCW and WWF, this is what we're all crying about, tweets. This is a big story. Don't act like it's nothing because you got friends in there. You cry about tribalism. You are the tribalism. It's coming from you. The fans are always going to cry about something. That's always going to happen. But the tribalism stems from you. You're literally throwing logs and logs onto a flaming fire, fueling, next level. While Vincent Kennedy McMahon is making globally billions of dollars, you're complaining about who's getting a title shot in his company and taking potty shots about paralegals. Concentrate on you, man. That's advice. That's not shade. That's not jabs. We all want AEW to do better, so it can be legit competition one day. That's going to make WWE even better. I've said it from day one. Just because I don't review the Dynamite shows or things like that, it's because I've had a rule on this channel. I don't do NXT either. I don't do TNA. I have the rule of 1 million in viewership. It's not that big of a goal. If you can consistently just get 1 million viewers every week, I'll review your show because then it's worthwhile for BC too. Just because I don't review it every week. And by the way, when I did, they would just take them down anyway. They didn't want to hear actual critiques. So that was bogus in its own right, but that's another story. This company is too sentimental. Relax. Concentrate on you. If you don't, nobody's ever going to take you seriously. And that's the sad part, man. Nobody's ever going to give you a second look. And that's why the ratings are where they are and they won't budge. It's the truth. Dustin, we all would love to do what you're asking us, man. It's just not... Can you do it within your own company first and lead by example? It's the best I can say, right? When you lead by example, true change can occur. When you just sprout out for a bunch of stuff, you spout out a bunch of nonsense because that's what it ends up being because your actions are not showing it. Your company has to do it too, bro. Be that. And then if you guys are practicing that, and the other company, WWE, is taking one potty shot after another, then absolutely, that's got to be called out. No question. And on this channel, we always do, right? It's a big story for us all the time when these companies take any cheap potty shots, because we have to decide, is this necessary or not? Was this the best way to go about anything? Or is this absolutely childish, right? We talk about it. It's a big story. It's just amazing how some people and again, we know why, right? When you break it down, we know exactly why they're acting like this is not a big story, but that's got to stop. That feeds the tribalism as well. You know, you really show that you're just about one company, man. You're literally showcasing that. Not just by what you say, by what you're doing. You are just supporting this company way more than any other. At this point, you don't even have to admit it. I mean, it's pretty blunt, and it's not going to help anything. It's not going to help anything. Anyway, guys, I only had about a half an hour. I may have just went over. I'm not sure. I might be a little bit late, but there's a lot to do today, and we got to get rocking. So that's a wild story. I can't even believe we're talking about something like this. Poor Jinder. I like Jinder. You guys know that. So for me, I'm like, Team Jinder for sure, man. The modern day Maharaja. Jinder rules. I like Jinder. He is a good dude. He definitely doesn't deserve to be dragged through the mud like that by Tony Khan. Come on, man. These wrestlers, Tony has to stop just attacking the wrestler. If you got a thing with HHH and WWE, that's one thing. Somebody has to teach him to stop dragging the talents, please. That's not cool for them, man. And if they wanted to, they could literally just rip you apart. They choose not to. I don't like the high school BS where they're all kind of making fun of you in the high school, right? In their locker room. I'm not justifying that or advocating, but I mean, you keep saying these outlandish things. The company does get pissed off, and thankfully they're just laughing it off. But maybe he wants a response from them a little bit more edgy, and that will put more eyeballs on AEW. Maybe, but a lot of them have a bit more maturity than that, and they're not going to give clowns the time of day, right? You say something stupid, guess what? Das Boot. Get the fuck out. You ain't worth a second, right? That's how WWE has basically been looking at all these things. It sucks that we're even in that predicament, right? It sucks that we're even in that position. But Tony, man, he was doing so good for a while. Somebody, Jericho, Bucks, somebody, take the phone away again. Guys, until next time, and there will be that next time. You know this. When we will be fully amplified yet again. Top guys, we are out. BC saying, check you. Peace. Jinder rules. And could you imagine if WWE puts the championship on Jinder Mahal Monday? Because more eyeballs will be there, obviously. Could you imagine if that would be the ultimate troll job if WWE puts the championship on Jinder Mahal? You were saying what, Tony? It's not right. It's not the right thing to do. CM Punk, Sethington, WrestleMania, book it for the title. And it's not right for Sethington, but damn, would that be the ultimate troll job by HHH. I don't know, bro. I wouldn't put it past him. Till next time, and it will be that next time. BC saying check you. Peace.